I just did an elimination diet. How do I reintroduce a food? An elimination diet is the gold standard for identifying foods that are problematic for your body. How it works is a specific food or foods are removed from your diet for a period of time, and then they're reintroduced slowly and methodically to see if symptoms occur or if a food reaction occurs. So if you've been on an elimination diet for a period of time, how exactly do you know you're ready to start reintroducing foods? The rule of thumb here is that your symptoms have noticeably improved, and you would be able to identify the impact of a possible food reaction. This might look like the clearing up of a skin condition, stomach aches that are gone or way less frequent, or your brain fog has lifted. In terms of a timeline, I typically suggest at least 30 days before reintroducing a food. If you have eliminated more than one food, how do you know which food to start with? You'll want to introduce the food that has the most nutritional value and is the least likely to cause a reaction. Some foods that people react to most commonly are things like dairy, eggs, gluten, and nightshade vegetables. So if you have something less reactive on your list to reintroduce, try that first. And how exactly do you reintroduce a food? What is the method? Step number 1 is to decide on the food that you want to reintroduce. Step number 2, take note of how you feel before you try the food. Write down your current symptoms and rate the severity 1 to 10, 1 being low, 10 being high or severe. This is your starting point. You can grab the food journal or symptoms tracker in the Eat to Heal course workbook linked below. Step number 3 is to eat the food. There are different ideas out there about how much of the food you should consume. Some folks recommend taking just a small spoonful and waiting for 15 minutes. And then if all is well, continuing to eat a regular sized portion of the meal. Others recommend just eating the regular sized portion. You'll want to discuss this with your healthcare team, especially if you have had a severe reaction in the past. And step 4, once you have eaten the regular portion of the food, wait 3 days before trying another reintroduction and make sure that you're monitoring your symptoms closely during that time period. Sometimes our bodies can tolerate eating a food once in a while, say weekly, once a week. And other times we can tolerate foods all the time. If you want to know if a food is going to work for you more frequently, this is the process that you can follow. Introduce the food by eating a regular portion of the food. Wait 3 days. And then eat a regular portion of the food 3 days in a row. Be sure to document your symptoms. The most important thing here is to wait the 3 days in between your reintroductions. Oftentimes what happens and what I see in my practice is somebody gets comfortable with making reintroductions. A few of them have gone really smoothly, and then they jump the gun and start eating many different foods at the same time. The problem here is that if a food reaction does occur, you no longer know which specific food that was, and you might have to start back at square one. So follow the steps and you'll be back to eating a more diverse diet very soon.